But I'm excited to see this team against the Philadelphia Eagles coming off a huge win against the Dallas Cowboys in Jerry's world, which just seems to be where you come in and get a win these days. I mean, I think they won 17 straight, and now they can't get a win to save their lives. Mitchell, it's things change. The world comes at you fast.
I mean, I would have to pull up the stats here, but it's safe to say Dallas has got blown out at home the last several games. And this one, the defense finally get Michael Parsons back. The defense is trying to hold this team in the game, in the first half, and it's not enough. It's 60 minutes of football, and you could just tell this defense was worn out. Cooper Rush could not do anything. 45 yards passing, and that – I didn't make a mistake there, Richard. 23 attempts, 45 yards pass. I mean, that is less than 2 yards an attempt. And he lost 2 fumbles, one of which low snap, but it still hit him right in the hands. Turns the ball over to the Eagles in the red zone. And then we get to see Trey Lance. Your buddy from San Francisco gets another opportunity. Before we turn to the Eagles, where does Dallas go from here? The season appears to be over. They're 3-6. Where the heck do they go from here?
Mitchell, they go back to the drawing board, Mitchell. And you know what they do? They erase everything on it and tell everybody, hey, thank you for your service. Like they thank you for your service. We really appreciate everything you did for Dallas, but we'll head this way. There's some coaches that could probably stay on that staff. I think Al Harris has done an amazing job with that secondary and just over the years had an incredible impact. They've led the league in turnovers, multiple guys. We talked about Deron Bland and then Trey Diggs and what they've done with the interceptions, but the scheme just changed so dramatically under Zimmer that you're not seeing the same impact because it's hard to make plays in that defense. It's one of those bend but don't break, like keep the shell over it, et cetera, but very predictable. But they got to start over. They got to find a new coach. And fans got to start having realistic expectations. They've had the greatest line in the NFL for so long. It's obviously been the Philadelphia Eagles for so long. I mean, for the last couple of years, but for decades, they've had such a fantastic and formidable offensive line. You take it for granted. So now that you don't have an offensive line, they're like, what's going on with Dak? What's going on with this? No, what's going on with the run game? We don't have the backs. I'm going to let you know something. Emmitt Smith couldn't run behind this offensive line that they have right now and have success because nobody's blocking. And they're going to have to address that in the draft. It's looking like they're going to have a very high draft pick, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be sitting there saying, Travis Hunter. You do not have the luxury of drafting a Travis Hunter right now. You better draft in the trenches, or every season is going to end like this one is. People hitting your quarterback repeatedly, then you go to the backup quarterback, and every Dallas fan, and don't look away now. Do not look away now, Dallas fans, because some of you guys were sitting there saying, Dak, sit him down, bench him. I want to see Cooper Rush. And do not tell me nobody was saying it because they were saying it. And we can go back and they might be deleting those tweets as we speak. After 13 or 25 attempts for 45 yards, they're deleting a lot of tweets. They're sitting there. Mitchell, they're deleting. And I don't blame them because he is not the answer. Nobody is the answer when this offensive line is not able to protect. He lost a couple fumbles. We talked about the low snap. He did not play well. Trey Lance came in. Not enough to really judge him off of, just six attempts. He had 4 completions, but he threw the interception, then another turnover when Ferguson just drops the ball. But I don't know, Mitchell. I don't think you can. You're pretty much at a point where you're going to have to wrap this season up and consider it a lost cause and start preparing for the draft next year. Play some young guys, let some guys get some experience and see what you have left in the cupboard, because right now you got a lot of guys. You got the Washington Commanders. They're a better team than you. You got the Philadelphia Eagles. They just blew you out at home. They're a better team than you. And I know it's a hard pill to swallow for Dallas fans, but this may be the rebuilding season that they need. New head coach, new regime. I'm sure they're going to be clamoring for your guy, Ben Johnson. I'm sure there's going to be some Bill Belichick talk because why wouldn't you? It's Dallas. I'm sure I'm going to say something about Prime. Why wouldn't I? But it's not if they continue with Mike McCarthy after this season, I would be incredibly surprised just because of how bad this season has gone. It looks like Dak Prescott's going to be on IR the rest of the season. Mitchell, they're looking down a dark tunnel, Mitchell, without a lot of hope.
Yeah, and just imagine being a first-time season ticket holder of the Dallas Cowboys. You're so excited for this new season, this team that was highly competitive last year. They're 0-4 at home, Rich. They've lost, I just looked it up. They lost their 4 games by a combined 94 points. That's 23 and a half points per game on average. They are losing. So, yeah, it might be time to hit that factory reset button in Dallas. But with the Eagles now, they take over the lone number 1 spot in the NFC East, and they look very, very good doing it. Jalen Hurts had himself a great game. Your boy A.J. Brown, always open. A.J. Brown, 5 catches for a 109. What's your thoughts on Philly? Because to me, as a Detroit Lions fan, thinking ahead and down the road, like obviously I already said I'm nervous about the Niners, but Philly's another one of those teams. You do not want to face them in the crunch, especially in Philadelphia. What do you think of Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think they're going to be a tough out for anybody. They're just too talented offensively. They struggled a lot early in this game. It seemed like the Micah Parsons effect was incredible. He forced a forced fumble from Jalen Hurts in the pocket in their own territory. I thought Dallas, that would be their chance to steal the momentum, score a touchdown there. They were unable to. They fumble a ball in the red zone or at the goal line. Ezekiel Elliott gives it up. So you just there were so many opportunities where you thought this could be a lot better of a game than it was. Their offense looked a little sloppy, but then Jalen Hurts threw it to all day, always open A.J. Brown, and their connection has never been better. You just that's where if you're an opposing team, you're concerned because you look at that offense and you see the All-Pro season that Saquon Barkley's having. You already know what Devontae Smith can do. Dallas Goedert a lot of times gets involved right when he needs to for Jalen Hurts. He's a safety valve for him. And so there's so many weapons. That offensive line is still very formidable. And then defensively, it seems like they're starting to find their rhythm a little bit more than they had earlier in the season, especially their defensive line. But I don't know. I don't have a lot of people beating the boys in Honolulu Blue in the playoffs with the way they're running the ball, the way Jared Goff is executing that offense, the way their defense is playing, and they just got better acquiring a pass rusher, which I thought they would do. So I'm thinking that team is just going to continue to improve and continue to, especially defensively, show people what they can do.